You could not ask for a more beautiful night for baseball in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we welcome you along the banks of the Ohio River to Great American Ballpark. It's a one-game makeup of a rained-out game earlier this season. Interleague baseball, the Detroit Tigers coming to town to take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, everybody, alongside Chris Welsh and Jim Day. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. Whenever the Tigers are in town, you truly have the chance to see one of the game's all-time great hitters. And this year is no exception. Miguel Cabrera spent time on the disabled list. No minor league rehab. He's hitting 500 since coming back.
You know, he's the guy that makes the argument that maybe some people are really just born to hit. Some are made and some are just born to hit. Miguel Cabrera might be that guy because not only does he hit, he hits with power, he hits in the clutch. This is what he's done since his return from the disabled list with no rehab down in the minor leagues to get his timing back. Rehab, schmehab, 500 batting average, a home run, 7 doubles. I mean, not going to cover off the ball. So if I'm Kiva Sampson, I want to know exactly where I am in the lineup to make sure I don't have to face him with runners in scoring position.
And even with the trip to the disabled, look where he ranks. First, fifth. Hitting with runners at 2 out and runners in scoring position. This guy is something else. We get to see him one more time here this year. You mentioned the name Kiva Sampson. He is on the mound tonight for the Reds. We've seen him very good. His last start, not as good.
A little rough outing last time. I think the main reason why, because he was nibbling around on the corners, didn't go right after the hitters. I think you're going to see a different Sampson tonight. He knows this is a short leash, and it's an audition. He wants to make the best impression possible, and I think he's going to attack the hitters a little bit more tonight than he did his last time out.
Buck Farmer, what do we know about this young man?
Well, he came up through the minor leagues very quick. He went to Georgia Tech. He was a guy that does not have overpowering stuff, but as he gets older and older, and he's only 24, he's throwing a little bit harder now than he did earlier when they first signed him a year or so ago. Not great stuff, but he's got a very good changeup, and he'll rely on that against left-handers, especially tonight.
All right, when we come back, the Reds and the Tigers have played 3 times this year. Jay Bruce and Todd Frazier have inflicted major damage. Can they take it to the Tigers tonight? Jim Day has that and more. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Scott Dimick. If you're heading down to GABP tonight, expect a clear sky overhead. Temperatures at first pitch will likely be just above 70 and then will float into the mid-60s by the final out. Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
I'm Jim Day. A couple months later, the Tigers and Reds will close out their season series. There have been 3 games played between the two clubs. And a couple of guys wish that 4th game would have been played when it had been played, because if you look at our IGS bringing the energy, it'll highlight 2 guys that were on fire in the Reds' first 3 games against the Tigers. Frazier, 385 average, 4 home runs, 7 runs driven in, and Jay Bruce, 583 average, 7 for 12, 2 doubles, and a home run. Supposed to play 2 games in Detroit, 2 games here. Didn't work out that way. We will play the finale tonight. And Jay Bruce and Todd Frazier are both in the lineup. Who else is in there? Lineups and first pitch are on deck. Interleague play, one night only. Tom Brenneman and Chris Welsh are next on the home of the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio.
Perfect weather night in downtown Cincinnati, and not a bad crowd for a makeup game here on this Monday night. Reds and the Tigers, Detroit getting right back out of town and flying right back home. And the Reds will stay at home as the Dodgers come to town beginning tomorrow. Brad Ausmus, second-year skipper of the Tigers, Central Division champions for the 5th straight time a season ago. Take a look at his starting lineup tonight. Ghost will play center. Ian Kinsler at second. The amazing Miguel Cabrera at first. J.D. Martinez in right. Tyler Collins in left. Nick Castellanos down at third. Alex Avila behind the plate. Andrew Romine at short. Buck Farmer makes his 4th start, his 9th appearance. For Kivas Sampson, his 6th major league game, his 5th major league start. It's ball 1 to Ghosts, and we are underway.
So the jury's far from out on Kivas Sampson so far. We have seen some very good games and some very good signs of a promising young major league pitcher. And we've also seen him have a hiccup or two. And the main hiccup came his last time out when he pitch against the Kansas City Royals, gave up 9 hits in 3 1/3 and 4 runs overall. That was a Reds 4-3 loss.
Yeah, he had only allowed a total of 6 runs in his first 3 major league starts. His first game ever was out of the bullpen against the Pirates. Then he got a start against them a few days later, went 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs. Then got his first major league win on the last road trip when he went 6 in Arizona, allowed 1 run. That one fouled out of play, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And then he picked up his 2nd straight win, the only win for the Reds in Los Angeles. It's when they scored 10 runs behind him. He allowed 2 before getting kicked around by the Royals his last time out. 2-2 on Ghosts, a .254 batting. And it's off the inside corner, says Jerry Meals, the umpire.
I think, yeah, Kivas thought he had this one. In fact, you can see the body language after he cuts it loose. He's kind of walking towards first base thinking, yep, that's strike 3. Oops. No, it isn't. I mean, it just barely missed.
So he comes right back with another fastball. It's in the air over near the Tigers' third base side dugout, and room over there for Frazier. Let's take a look at the Reds on defense tonight, presented by Ford. And again, with all the injuries and recent trades, you have Schumacher again in left, Bourgeois for the disabled Billy Hamilton in center, Jay Bruce in right, Suarez back in after a day off yesterday, so the regular infield intact. And Tucker Barnhart hangs a sign for Kivas Sampson. Sampson just turned 24 years young prior to the start of spring training. And that was roughly, well, it was exactly 2 days prior to the Reds claiming him off waivers from the San Diego Padres. And you really have to admire Sampson. Nothing bitter, no sour grapes, no nothing. The Padres told him he was basically the last man left off the 40-man roster. And he said, I'm just grateful they gave me the chance. I'm forever indebted to the San Diego Padres, but now it's time to turn the page and move on. And here he is in the Reds rotation, a rookie-filled Reds rotation. Base hit left field off the bat of Ian Kinsler. Over to cut it off is Schumacher, and Kinsler with a 1-out single. Of course, it's only about a 3.5-hour ride, and I mean, it's straight down from the Ohio-Michigan border on 75 to come to Cincinnati, so there are a lot of Tiger fans here tonight.
Well, those that came wanted to really come and see one guy, if no one else, and he's stepping to the plate right now.
Miguel Cabrera has hit in 8 consecutive games, has recorded multiple hits in 5 straight games, and in 7 of the last 8. It's just incredible. Since he came off the disabled list, he has 17 hits in 34 at bats, and he was 0 for his first 3. So he has 17 hits in his last 31 trips to the plate. He enters tonight's game with 4,037 total bases in his career. He is 1 total base away from tying Andres Galarraga for the most total bases by a Venezuelan-born player in the history of this game. And many believe he, when his career is over, he being Cabrera, will go down as one of the 2 or 3 best right-handed hitters in the history of baseball. And boy, that is an impressive list.
Good looking breaking ball right there. So in this at bat, he has thrown 3 pitches. Sampson has. He's had a fastball for a strike and this overhand curveball for a 2nd strike.
Fastball low, 2-2 on Cabrera.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's an interesting pitch right there because Barnhart and Sampson both wanted that pitch inside. But you're looking in there at Cabrera and you're thinking, man, can I really get it in there on this guy? And you tend to overthrow it a little bit. And he throws it down and away. Really kind of a wasted pitch. Come in there again.
3-2.
And that's really what, I mean, it's a mind game. And it's so difficult, really, to erase the name on the back of the jersey when you're a young man like Kevin Sampson, who's been sitting around the last few years watching highlights of this guy, you know, demolishing just about every pitcher that he faces.
Three-two pitch, Kinsler running, and it's swung on and fouled out of play. You know, we've mentioned it before. Sampson grew up in Florida. And, of course, that's the organization where Miguel Cabrera came up. Now, they weren't cities close to one another. He grew up in Ocala. That's a pretty far ride from Miami. But he was of the age, 12 years old roughly, when Cabrera was brought up to the major leagues. And, of course, he was one of the real catalysts as a teenager when the Marlins won the 2003 World Series over the Yankees.
And remember that when he was brought up, he was 20 years old. Only 2 times in his career where he has been an everyday player has he not made the All-Star team. And one of those years he led the league in home runs.
And he just keeps on hitting.
Jeez.
Down the right field line, Kinsler being held at third. That's a single by Cabrera. Well, how about that trio standing over there? Votto, Cabrera, and Omar Vizquel.
Well, Vizquel's hanging close over there, hoping to pick up a couple of batting tips. I mean, that is just amazing hitting. When you hit it so late like that, you get a couple of strikes on, you have such confidence in your ability to get the bat hit through that you rarely do you get fooled. And he just hits that ball with authority to right field. There just aren't many in the history of the game that can hit it like he can.
At least you have the double play in order. Cabrera's still not running nearly as well. He was never a burner. That's not his game. But he spent time on the disabled list with an injured calf, and that's the kind of injury you have to be so careful, because it can just continue to flare up year after year after year as you get older and older.
Sounds like you've had one of those.
I have, and I was told anyway, thank God it's been okay, but I was told by Dr. Kremchek that that's a bad one. And this is a bad sign here. 3-0 Tigers, home run, J.D. Martinez. Home run number 33 of the year for J.D. Martinez. He has 84 runs batted in. 3-0 Detroit.
Well, a 1-0 pitch, and Sampson gets him into a situation where he has to throw a strike. You don't want to go down 2-0. And just leaves it out over the plate. Martinez loves to get those arms out there and ride it a long way.
Swing and a miss to Tyler Collins. He gets a start out in left field tonight. Single bomb after Kivas retired the leadoff man to start this game. They like Collins, playing in his 34th game since being brought up from the minor leagues. And now Tucker Barnhart will come out and chat briefly with Kivas Sampson.
telling you, they don't care. All they want is their batters and pitchers for 18.
In the air and playable for Schumacher in left. And that's out number 2 in the Tigers' first inning. Tigers just played yesterday at home. They played 4 games over the weekend, won the first one, lost 3 in a row to the Rangers, and then actually flew into Cincinnati last night. It's one of those where you sometimes wonder, Chris, are you better off just getting up tomorrow or today, taking what, a 35-45 minute tops flight down to Cincinnati, play the game, turn around and go home. They're not even packs a bag.
You're exactly right. And some teams do that, I think.
Well, the Cardinals, Skip Schumacher was telling us, I was stunned earlier this year. You know, we look at Tony La Russa as being a certain sort of rigid and hard-nosed, you know, fill in the blank, intense. And apparently a number of years ago, some of the Cardinals players said, hey, look, you know, our Central Division's pretty good travel. How about from time to time, if, you know, we're at home on a Sunday and we're off on a Monday and we're going to Cincinnati or Milwaukee or somewhere like that to play a series starting Tuesday night. You know, what do you think about every now and again, not every time, but every now and again, flying in Tuesday morning?
Especially if the previous day is an off day, not a day game, getaway day, or even night game, obviously, but if it's a complete off day, you know, and you leave at 3 in the afternoon on your off day to go to the next city, it's not real an off day. It's an off part of a day. And sometimes having one night at home with your wife, and maybe if you have kids the same way, can really make you feel like you're a little more relaxed.
Because some of the teams are taking it to the other extreme. Castellanos has a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes where, you know, they'll play Sunday at home and they'll be off on Monday and they'll start a road trip on a Tuesday night and they're leaving after the game on a Sunday and spending their entire off day in the road city. The team that just left here does that, the Diamondbacks. 3-2 pitch. High towering drive into left field, backing up Schumacher at the wall, and Castellanos plays long ball for the 14th time. 4-0 Detroit.
Well, the pitch is up, so Sampson provides the height, and really not hard to get elevation. All you have to do is put the good part of the bat on it. And Castellanos does it. Now, watching the ball in batting practice today, Tom, we're now, even though it's cooled down a little bit, not one of those hot, humid weeks. It's going to be a beautiful week to watch baseball, but the wind blowing out of the west. And in that left center field gap, that's a little bit of a jet stream going on out there. Flags are blowing slightly, but the balls are really carrying in BP.
The 4 runs by Detroit here in the top of the first inning, the most runs allowed in the first inning of a game this season by the Reds. Big shift put on Alex Avila. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Avila's father is now the president of baseball operations and the general manager of these Detroit Tigers. For 14 years, the president of the team and the president of baseball operations and the general manager of the Detroit Tigers was David Dombrowski. But a couple of weeks ago, he was relieved of his duties, and a guy who's been with him going all the way back to their days with the Marlins is Al Avila, who is Alex's father.
Well, he had that job, Avila did, with the Detroit Tigers for a long time. I mean, in the front office. He's moved up, obviously, from where he first started. And that's when Alex Avila was in high school. So he came up and enrolled at a high school in Detroit area, and then decided to finish his high school years down in Florida.
Breaking ball too low, and he goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. 4 hits, 4 runs, including 2 home runs here in the Tigers' first inning.
Avila ended up going to college at University of Alabama, and that's where the Detroit Tigers drafted him. Actually, they drafted him twice, once out of high school and then again out of college.
There's a missile into right center field, cut off by Jay Bruce. He'll hold Avila to a loud long single. 5th hit of the first inning, and it continues with the number 8 hitter, the shortstop Andrew Romine.
Just too many pitches, thigh high and center cut. You know, if you watch guys from, and we have a great look from the center field camera about how where the pitchers are located, yes, but also the movement on the pitches. And no better example than what happened yesterday with Raisel Iglesias striking out 13 batters, Arizona Diamondbacks, and his pitches were moving all over the place. When you throw a fastball that's straight, and Kiva Sampson right now, his fastball primarily throws a 4-seam fastball, and it's straight, and you really have to be careful as to where you throw that. And you've got to just make sure that it's on the peripheral of the strike zone. Here's Iglesias. Watch his pitches move all over the place there. Little cutter away, fastball moving up. I mean, life on him. Late movement. And that and the fact that you're hitting the corners. So once you establish yourself with throwing strikes, guys are going to begin to chase. But you can't throw them down the middle of the first inning because they'll chase you out of here early.
Iglesias became the 3rd Reds pitcher in the last 50 years to lose a game in which he struck out more than a dozen batters, joining Freddie Norman. We just heard from him during the telecast a couple of days ago. That happened to Freddie in 1974, and then Aaron Harang in 2007. It's the first time it's happened to any pitcher this year. In fact, you got to go all the way back to April of 2014 when Cliff Lee of the Phillies struck out 13 in a game and lost. 41st pitch of the inning coming up for Sampson. Frazier can't get it. It's under his glove down the line. And going first to third is Avila on a double by Romine. That was going to be a very tough play, even if Frazier fields the ball cleanly to try and throw out Romine. It was so softly hit.
And he was playing way around towards shortstop. Frazier was. Once it hit the lip right there and stayed down, it got under Frazier's glove. This really doesn't matter because he's not going to throw the runner out at first base, so no run scores on that play. So a double all the way, and now the pitcher Buck Farmer comes to the plate. Well, you know you're having a good start to a ball game when you're a visiting pitcher and you bat in the first inning.
Yes, that would be true. And especially when you're a guy walking in who's given up almost as many earned runs as innings pitched so far this year.
Well, he did get a base hit in his first at bat since high school. And that was in a major league start. Boy, don't hang a breaking ball to him and let him make contact. Just go ahead and ball him away.
Tigers had a young pitcher the other night hit a home run against the Cubs, Daniel Norris, and that's how they believe he ended up getting hurt. 9 men back. 4 of them score on 6 hits, a pair of home runs. 4-0 after a half inning. To bat and work to do already. Losers of 9 in a row. And that matches a season high. Brian Price's starting lineup presented by Myers. Schumacher, Suarez, the former Tiger. He came over in the Alfredo Simon deal, you may remember. Joey Votto bats third. Brandon, Frazier, and Bruce 4, 5, and 6. Bourgeois in center. Barnhart catching Sampson. 24 2/3 innings. 23 earned runs allowed in 8 games spanning 3 starts for Buck Farmer.
Hey, you know, this was a game that was rained out, originally supposed to be played June the 18th. And in that game, we were scheduled to see David Price, Yoenis Cespedes, Joaquin Benoit, and it was Price versus Johnny Cueto. But tonight we get Kiva Sampson versus Buck Farmer. Thanks to Mother Nature. And Buck Farmer, a young man that grew up right outside of Atlanta in Conyers, Georgia, went to Rockdale County High School, was drafted out of high school, decided not to sign, ended up going to Georgia Tech, where he was drafted a couple of times, went back and actually finished his senior season before he was drafted by the Detroit Tigers, and he's been on the fast track to the major leagues ever since.
Well, it's an outstanding baseball program. It's also an outstanding academic college.
Better believe it.
Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck, right there in the heart of downtown Atlanta. Schumacher, very good career numbers against the Detroit Tigers. And a slow roller to the left side, handled by Romine. He just throws in time, 1 away. Detroit defensively. And when they play in a National League city, they can't use a DH. That means no Victor Martinez. Oh, that's a good thing for opposing pitchers. Collins getting a chance to play now out in left field. And already in this game, home runs by J.D. Martinez and Castellanos, the third baseman.
Well, they could use Victor Martinez, play him at first base, but that means no Cabrera. Unless they wanted to try to play one of those players out in the outfield somewhere. So they have a weapon on the bench for late in the game in Victor Martinez.
Eugenio Suarez. A high fly ball into right center field will be handled by Ghost. So 7 pitches to retire the first 2 batters. Here in the bottom of the first inning for Farmer after Sampson threw better than 40 pitches to try and just get out of a 4-run top of the inning. And there comes Joey Votto. Votto at 308, 23 home runs, 60 runs batted in. Of course, he continues to lead the National League in a host of categories since the All-Star break. Leads the National League in walks. Has at least 100 walks for the 3rd time in his career since the All-Star break. Leads the major leagues in walks and on base percentage. Leads the National League in hitting and doubles. And the slugging percentage is a category that I had not mentioned, 3rd best since the break. .94-mile-per-hour fastball on a 1-1 pitch, and Votto comes up empty, 1-2.
You admire those numbers by Joey Votto, where he ranks among National League leaders in those very important offensive categories, and then you wonder, well, if you got a guy in the middle of your order hitting the way he is, how are you struggling so mightily for runs? And the Reds have had a hard time getting on ahead of them, and they've had a harder time hitting behind them, especially since the break.
And they've changed up the batting order to have at least Phillips, who is swinging the bat moderately well, because Frazier and Bruce have had such a difficult time driving runners in when they've had their chances. 3-2 to Votto. Second time this year Brian Price has had to endure a 9-game losing streak. Well, you got to wonder how much sleep the manager's getting these days. It's mighty tough. It doesn't matter if your team is well out of the race, which of course the Reds are. When you're losing night in and night out, it just wears you down. Brandon Phillips, when he's hit cleanup this season, he's in the driver's seat. Brought to you by Kia. This is only the 14th game, but in those prior 13, 7 runs batted in and a batting average at .340. So why not stick him in that cleanup spot and take your chances? Among so many other things that define Brandon Phillips as an all-star player, perennial Gold Glove winner, just has had a great major league career. Is he never complains about where you hit him in a batting order, and Lord knows the Reds have hit him everywhere throughout his career for extended periods of time. They've asked him to be a leadoff man, they've asked him to be a 2-hole hitter, they've asked him to bat cleanup, and wherever the manager scratches his name in the lineup, he just goes out there and plays.
That's what players are supposed to do. But he's versatile enough to be able to get that done. I'll never forget when Barry Larkin was here. Whoever managed Larkin had to admit, well, where do you hit him? He's our best leadoff hitter, our best number 2 hitter, our best number 3 hitter.
Talked about those numbers yesterday. The on-base percentage significantly higher when runners are on base for Brandon. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, and it's in the dirt. Doesn't chase that one. 2-2 to Phillips.
That pitch at 86 miles an hour looks like it goes straight down. That's his changeup, and he likes to throw that an awful lot. Does Buck Farmer.
Votto about a 1-step lead, 2-step lead, held on by Cabrera, and it's ball 3. So here the Tigers give Buck Farmer 4 runs in the top of the first inning. He walks Votto with 2 men out. He gets ahead of Brandon Phillips at 1 ball and 2 strikes, and now has missed on 2 in a row. We'll see if he throws a strike here. He does, and it's lined hard to right, but that'll end the inning. 1 man left. We played 1, and the Tigers in front in a 1-game series, 4-0. And on Inside Bearcats football, Dan Hoy takes a look at Cincinnati's high-powered offense, and they're hoping a hungry defense. Big expectations for the Bearcats. Inside Bearcats football kicks off tonight after Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. I got to tell you, I cannot wait to get over there and check out the revamped Nippert Stadium. Always one of the great venues in all of college football. But I mean, it has been dressed up to the nines, and this will be a bunt hit for Ghost to begin the 2nd inning. Now, Jim Day, you want to chime in about Bearcat football under Tommy Tuberville?
Well, Todd Frazier's become a closet. I don't want to say closet. He's out and about now. UC fan. How about this photo that was tweeted out today? Him and Ivan DeJesus Jr. He has become quite the Bearcat supporter. And President Ono, the president of the University of Cincinnati, tweeted back and said Todd has an open invitation to come watch any Bearcat football game in the suite with him anytime he wants to.
Wow.
So he is he's getting onto this Cincinnati thing.
Well, of course, for many, many years, Todd's alma mater, Rutgers University, was in the same conference at UC. So he wasn't rooting for him then.
Oh, no question about it.
But
he's
now,
still a Rutgers guy now.
Yeah, Rutgers now plays
number
in the
1.
Big Ten.
Yeah. Rutgers is going to be on top of the list, but he is a big-time UC supporter.
All right. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't UC reopen Nippert Stadium? The first game, I think, is not next weekend, but September the 5th, I believe. Yeah, Alabama A&M will be here. And that game is going to be right here on Fox Sports Ohio on Saturday, September the 5th. Well, what a great place to watch a game, man. I just can't wait to see it. I've been down there since they redid it.
I've seen photos only, a little video of it, and saw a show about it. Hey, this year their offense, did they score over 70 points in their, was it the black and red game or the Gunner squad game? I mean, man, they've got some point scoring ability on that team.
Well, my understanding is I heard some, quote unquote experts, prognosticators that made the claim that their wide receiving core is among the top 5 of all colleges.
Wow.
In all of college football this year. That's how talented they are at the wide receiver position. We know they have a quarterback that can get it to him, because Keel, his first year as a starter last year, very impressive. Kinsler, a base hit into left field, his first time up, scored the first of 4 Tigers runs in that inning. There goes Ghost, throw down right on the money and out at second base is Ghost. You can't throw it out there any better than that.
But he's sneaking off the back, Ghost says, and he gets a pretty good lead. But when you throw it on the money like that, I mean, all Brandon Phillips has to do is catch it, because it's already in the right spot. What a throw. That's the 9th time he's been caught stealing, though, out of 19, not out of 19 attempts, but out of 19 successful stolen bases, 9 times thrown them out. Not a great success percentage there.
Still 2-2 on Kinsler. This is such an unfamiliar position to these Detroit Tigers. They are the reigning 5-time American League Central Division champions. I mean, can you make the argument they're still in the hunt? Yeah. I mean, they're 5 games out in a wild card. But they're also 5 games under 500. They've already traded away their ace, David Price.
And they've got 6 teams ahead of them in the wild card. So 5 games is one thing, but you have to hope for a collapse of other teams ahead of you. Of course, the Orioles and the Angels have both lost 4 in a row, and they're ahead of the Detroit Tigers in the wild card.
Last year, they were eliminated 3 games to none in the American League Division Series by Baltimore. 2013, eliminated in the American League Championship Series 4 games to 2 by Boston. They beat Oakland that year in the Division Series, but that was it. Of course, 2012, they reached the World Series, and everybody thought they would win that World Series after beating the Yankees in a 4-game sweep in the LCS. But then the Tigers were swept by the Giants 4 games to none in that World Series. Three-two pitch, and once more fouled away.
And they also lost the World Series in 2006. They lost in 5 games to the Cardinals that year. And of course, you cannot forget, Tom, that back in 1940 they lost the World Series to the Reds in 7 games.
I mean, a lot of people wonder why Dave Dombrowski was let go. I mean, he's put together an outstanding collection of stars. They're paying him a lot of money. This will be the 12th pitch in this at bat coming up. Sampson against Keynes. But, you know, sometimes ownership looks at a situation and say, hey, look, maybe this is the beginning of starting to go the other way. They're not banking on that. But 14 years and you get to a couple of World Series and you don't win one, sometimes that's when ownership says enough's enough. 12 pitches in this at bat.
Well, the ownership said that a couple of years ago, really, in the dismissal of Dusty Baker with the year left on his contract, when the Reds were unable under Dusty Baker's helm to win a playoff series.
What an unbelievable
a well-earned walk.
A 13 pitch at bat.
Well, see, pitch tracks of 12 pitches overall make it 13, ball 4. Next one Sampson throws will be number 60 in the ball game.
And there's only one out here in the second inning. And that was on a caught stealing attempt by Anthony Gose. Here's Cabrera. Breaking ball low.
Well, you got to pitch him in. I mean, not that you can consistently pitch Cabrera in any one way or another, but he's not seen a pitch on the inner part of the plate at all. And you know what damage he did the last time out when you just pitched him away and let him go the other way.
Fastball away. 2 balls and no strikes on Cabrera.
I mean, you've already given up 4 runs and 7 hits. Don't be scared now. Go right after him. Relax and let it loose.
By the way, there was so much going on in that first inning. We told you about it before Cabrera came to the plate, but he has officially now passed Andres Galarraga for the most total bases by a Venezuelan-born player in the history of Major League Baseball. And he's not close to being finished. 4,000 total bases. Look at those numbers with runners on base. 414. And this one is in the air to right. Jay Bruce will have room at the track. Of course, the last time the Tigers were here, Cabrera hit one about 100 feet beyond that, in that same direction.
I think he would really like this ballpark. I mean, really like this ballpark.
Two away in the inning, and here's Martinez, who hit one a mile to the deepest part of left center field for his 33rd home run of the year 1 inning ago. This was a guy that the Houston Astros, and Chris, you talked about him when these two teams met earlier this year, both in the Motor City and here in Cincinnati. Houston basically just let him walk right out the door. How would he look at Minute Maid Park right now?
Where would he play?
He had 33 bombs and 84 batted in. He'd find somewhere to play. And if they can't use him, you can bring him here to Cincinnati. Martinez just 3 days ago turned 28 years old. He got his chance to come up after just a little less than 2 years of minor league baseball. Drafted in the 20th round by the Astros in 2009. By 2011, he was in the big leagues. And the following year, he was an everyday player. at .241. Had 11 home runs, 55 knocked in. But the following year was not an everyday player. Check swing and a miss, and that's all for the Tigers. It's a scoreless second inning. Reds coming to bat, trailing 4-0. Our Elk and Elk storyline brought to you by Elk and Elk. Sparky Anderson, of course, managed the Reds, managed the Tigers, and managed both franchises to World Series titles. Won more games in Detroit. That might surprise some. Won more pennants, of course, here in Cincinnati. And until Tony La Russa, for a long, long time, Sparky Anderson was the only manager in the history of baseball to win a World Series in the National and American Leagues. I tell you what, man, of all those that have worn the Reds uniform, and we talked a little bit about this the other night. We had Tony Perez up here, but to be around Sparky Anderson on a regular basis, I don't know if it's possible to enjoy the company of another man more than enjoying the company of that man. God rest his soul. Boy, was he just one wonderful guy. I mean, it didn't matter if you were the king of kings, or no matter what you did, no matter where you came from, Sparky Anderson could relate to everybody. He was something else. Castellanos throws in time to get Frazier.
Well, he almost waited too long right there. Frazier really busting it down the line, trying to pick up an infield hit. You know, Sparky, 9 years with the Reds with Sparky, 2 World Series, couple of National League pennants. Ooh. Brian Price at the top of the dugout. They're waiting for a confirmation from Rob Coughlin down in the video room as to maybe they're going to ask for a review of that. Frazier's still hanging around at the first base bag. Wow, that is close. No, they're not going to review it.
No, they're not. Jay Bell came over, and he was one on the phone with Rob Coughlin.
So 9 years here, Sparky, and 2 World Series, couple of pennants, 17 years with the Detroit Tigers. Of course, the other thing you forget about Sparky is in 1981, the Reds won the first half and the second half, but they did not go to the playoffs because they won neither. That was not Sparky?
I think John McNamara.
No, that was McNamara did that year.
Used to see Sparky after he had retired. There's a broken bat fly ball into short left field, and that'll be the second out of the inning as Bruce is retired. After he had retired from being a manager, he was doing some games on television out with the Angels. Of course, he lived out in California his entire life, and what a treat it was. Still so sharp, and then when it made the turn for the worse, it made the turn in a hurry. And boy, do we miss him. So many people miss him.
You know, as I remember as a kid watching the Reds and Sparky Anderson, when you went to a ball game, the pitching coach didn't go to the mound very much. It was always Sparky. And you knew when Sparky trotted to the mound, the pitcher was only getting a talking to. But when he walked slowly to the mound, Captain Hook was coming to get you.
Popped up into short left by Bourgeois. We play 2, and the Tigers own a 4-0 lead.
Delivered by Blue Jacket center Ryan Johansson. And before the game, he was in uni, shacking some fly balls, some ground balls, hanging out with the Cincinnati Reds. And right now, my pleasure to welcome him in, hanging out here behind home plate. How was that first pitch? You talked to our guy Brian Gieseslaw. I know you said, I'm just going to let it fly. And, man, you let it fly.
Yeah, I was worried he wouldn't be able to jump up and get it in time. So, yeah, I'll take it as a first one.
How about hanging out with the team and shagging some fly balls, the baseball equivalent batting practice of the morning skate?
Yeah, exactly. No, it was great. I got to know a few of the guys, and we're just talking about the difference between the sports and things like that, and schedules and travel and kind of those things. And it's interesting how many similarities there are between us and the two sports and really every sport. So, first time down on the field and getting to know a few of the guys was a pretty cool experience today.
Well, I've been around both sports, and I want to tell you, those guys that are down there on the field right now, I love them to death, but they couldn't make one shift in the National Hockey League. Tell me about baseball in British Columbia. Did you have much of it? Did you play it at all?
I played a couple of years when I was really young, but we get way too much rain up there, and not enough indoor stadiums. So, I didn't play a lot. I was a hockey, lacrosse, golf guy, but I have a lot of respect for this game and for these athletes. They're obviously the best of the best and world class at it. So. It's fun to be able to get out to another game.
Yeah, people don't realize how hard it is to hit that little white ball. It's moving about 95 miles per hour. But hitting that little puck on ice and ice skates is certainly similar. Tell me about yourself. You drafted in 2010. You made it to the league at the ripe age of 19. And then last year made the All-Star team, 71 points, an elite player certainly. Do you think you can even take the next step?
Oh, of course. That's, like every good player in any sport, you always want to be the best you can be. And I'm surrounded with a lot of great teammates and a lot of great hockey people. And you just want to keep pushing yourself and try to be the best player you can be. And, for me, it's just a stepping stone. The last 2 years, I think I've come a long way and starting to be comfortable out there on the ice and confident in my game. And obviously, which everyone's heard about in the hockey world, we've made a couple new big additions to our team. And we got a lot of confidence going into this year. So, everyone's kind of getting back into town right now. We're gearing up for the start of the season, and there's a lot of excitement around our team.
You guys finished really strong last year, but fell short of the playoffs. How much of a motivator is that? The city will go crazy. I'm from Columbus. They'll go nuts for a winner. You excited about what might lie ahead making the playoffs?
I'm very excited. I hate touching on it, but the injuries we had last year, it's pretty remarkable. It was over 500 man games lost due to injuries. So when we had our full squad, obviously you saw what we did at the end of our season, and we had a lot of success when we were playing together and playing for each other. And that's a big thing. We just got to come together early on and go out and try and take it one game at a time. And like any sport, it's, you can't think too much ahead or get too high or get too low. You just got to kind of stay in the moment and try and become the best team you can.
We'll be rooting you on. Appreciate your time, and thanks for hanging out with us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right, that's Ryan Johansson, in the hockey circles known as Joey. And they open up camp on September 17th. Tom and Chris, the season opener against the Rangers, Friday, October 9th. You can see it on Fox Sports Ohio.
Well, looking forward to that. Another big year, and right here on Fox Sports Ohio, Blue Jackets hockey. What a great building they play in up there in downtown Columbus. You ever had a chance to get up there, whether it's for a Blue Jackets game or a concert? What an unbelievable venue that is. I think it's called Nationwide Arena, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
I mean, they have two world-class facilities as far as indoor arenas are concerned. I mean, that place where Ohio State plays basketball, that may as well be an NBA or hockey arena. The Schottenstein Center, right on Lane Road, just down across the street, catty corner to the Horseshoe. There's ball 4, low and away to Avila. Draws a 2-out walk.
One of the things, if you watch Kivas Sampson pitch, just from a technical standpoint, he's one of these pitchers that throws across his body. And when you throw across your body, you have to make sure that you make the adjustment. that you can still pitch to the first base side of home plate. And we mentioned during his first couple of starts how Teddy Power, the pitching coach down for the Louisville Bats, finally convinced Sampson to move from the third base side of the rubber over to the first base side, which opened up a lot for him. But today he seems to be kind of carrying the ball, which means when you try to throw it inside, you're getting it down and in. You're not staying behind the ball. You're on the side of it. And that's something where you have to kind of diagnose it midstream. There's a good spot right there, and he had a little comeback action on it. So much of this is just getting lined up right.
Romine doubled on a little tapper up the third base line. It was basically a little more than a swinging bunt. Frazier came charging over and tried to pick it up, do or die play, and it just rolled under his glove and trickled down the left field line. 9 Tigers came to the plate in the first inning. 6 of them base hits, 4 of them scored. 2-2 on Romine. Struck him out on a fastball at 93 up in the zone, and that'll take care of the Tigers in the third. So back-to-back shutout innings for Sampson. Reds are down 4-0. Cincinnati Bell on the 4th. We have Grateful Dead night. Be one of the first 20,000 fans September the 5th. And you'll receive a Reds Stein. That's German Heritage Night. 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations for tickets, or always log on to reds.com/tickets. And that's the next time the Reds are home. That Labor Day weekend, they open a lengthy homestand on that Friday night. Brewers will be in for 3, Pirates in for 3, the Cardinals in for 4. And after that, only 6 home games remain this season. Dodgers in town starting tomorrow night, and the Dodgers come limping into Cincinnati. When the Arizona Diamondbacks came here to open a series on Thursday night, they were 9 games out of first place. But the Dodgers have lost 5 in a row. The Diamondbacks, of course, won 4 in a row over the weekend. And Arizona starts a series tonight at home against St. Louis, all of a sudden very much in the race in the NL West. Only 5 games out of first. The Giants in between those two, San Francisco a game and a half back. Okay, the next 10 days there are some critical series starting all over baseball. Reds trail here as they bat in the third, 4-0. The Cubs won again today. Chris Bryant, a home run in the bottom of the 9th inning in a 2-1 win over Cleveland. The Cubs are on a plane right now on their way to take on the defending world champion Giants. And from there they'll go to Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. And really that's almost a do or die series for the Giants if they're thinking about being a wild card. Now they're a lot closer in the divisional standings than they are the wild card. But the Cubs have a chance for all intents and purposes to just bury the Giants and everyone else thinking about a wild card. Gone swinging is Barnhart. First strikeout of the game for Buck Farmer. With the Cub win today, they have a 6.5 game lead over the next closest team, that being the Giants, for that second wild card in the National League. Sampson will bat here in the bottom of the third inning, and he looks at a fastball strike. It's almost at the point where if you're the Giants, and it's almost, but if you're the Giants or if you're the Washington Nationals, you better find a way to win your division. Because it is 6.5. Washington 10 back. They're 5 behind the Mets, who lead the NL East. So you could turn that around the other way, and for a team like the Dodgers, you better win your division, because you're not going to be the wild card, barring a miracle. The 6.5 is not insurmountable, but you would take your chances with that all day, every day.
Well, offense is a lot of the problems with the Dodgers, and I see where Jock Peterson has lost his job as the everyday center fielder. Here's a guy who was an all-star and went right down the wire, I think, with Todd Frazier in the home run derby. Good looking left-handed hitter, but just simply has completely slumped here in the second half.
Nice young man, too. I had a chance to meet him very briefly during the All-Star game festivities down on the field.
And his job will go to Kiki Hernandez, Enrique Hernandez, who was simply on fire when the Reds went through Los Angeles. He was picking up 3 or 4 hits a day, it seemed like.
Strike 3 called to Sampson. Back-to-back strikeouts for Farmer here in the third. Coming up later on, we'll have our Miller Time moment. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. Nothing in 1 on Skip Schumacher, who's 0 for 1. He tapped out to the shortstop Romine. His only time up. Reds without a hit. Their only base runner was a 2-out walk to Joey Votto in the first. Two balls and a strike on Schumacher. And now 3-1. The Reds again are going to miss the co-ace, I guess, of the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. Of course, their main man this year has been the right-hander Zach Greinke. Greinke lost for just the 3rd time all year long over the weekend against Houston. And Sports a 1.67 ERA. He'll get locked up with Anthony DeSclafani on Thursday afternoon. John Lamb v. Alex Wood Tuesday night. Brett Anderson, a left-hander, against left-hander David Holmberg in the middle game.
I'm pretty certain it was DeSclafani that drew Greinke last time when the Reds went through Los Angeles. And finally a base on balls, and the Reds have their second base runner. Well, I'm not sure what Buck Farmer is doing out there, but I imagine that he's being talked to by the veteran Avila catcher, who says, hey, you know, you've got a 4-run lead right here. You're taking a lot of time between pitches, and you're nibbling. And that's one sure way of letting this Reds ball club back into the action, especially when you get to the top of the lineup, where you do have a few of these hitters who are swinging the bat pretty well. Suarez and Votto, and then followed by Brandon Phillips.
Suarez first pitch swinging at that fastball and drops it foul and over the screen.
You have to figure that Eugenio is really fired up about facing his team. I mean, after all, he played for them last year. He made his major league debut in 2014 as a member of the Detroit Tigers, played about half the season. And then, of course, got traded in the Alfredo Simon deal. Nothing like playing against your old team.
Tigers had a choice to make what they were going to do at shortstop. Well, they had Suarez and a young and very talented Jose Iglesias. Roman's filling in for Iglesias tonight. But Iglesias was the choice. So Suarez ended up a Red. Broken back pop-up. And that will retire the side. One left. Reds still without a hit through 3. And they trail 4-0. Use hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan, and you might see yourself during an upcoming telecast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We'll have our Strong Fan photo of the game coming up later tonight. 4 runs and 6 hits in the Tigers' first inning. 1 hit and no runs over the last 2. So here comes Sampson in the 4th inning. And he starts out facing the pitcher Farmer and delivers strike 1. Goes next, then Kinsley. Tigers hit a pair of home runs in that 4-run first inning. A 3-run shot by J.D. Martinez. And a solo home run by Castellanos. Oh, 2 to Farmer. Struck him out swinging. It's a 25th consecutive start by a Reds rookie pitcher here tonight. Started off really well, very impressive. But as is normally the case, especially when you're running them out there every day for a month, there are going to be some ups and there are going to be some downs, and recently there have been more of the latter.
And you've got to ask yourself going forward, if you're Brian Price and you're going to use your bullpen on a nightly basis, there's really nobody in this rotation like a Johnny Cueto, for instance, who you pretty much can guarantee a pitcher going deep into the ballgame. Will you eventually have to go to 13 pitchers? Get one more down there in the bullpen so that you don't have to wear everybody out. Of course, all you really got to do is make it to the beginning of September, then you can expand your rosters.
It really is going to be interesting to see what the Reds starting rotation will look like in 2-3 weeks from now, with still about 3 weeks left to go in the year, because of some of these young pitchers reaching a point in the season where you don't want to extend them beyond, and they're all different, a given number of innings. Ground ball behind the bag. Suarez is there. And Ghost is retired for the second out. Well, you're certainly getting an idea about the makeup of Kiva Sampson here tonight. I mean, the easiest thing in the world to do would be for some, not suggesting that that's what would happen to anybody, but he didn't let the 4-run inning. Point, it was a loud, long first-run inning in excess of 40 pitches. But ever since then, he just takes a ball, and he's been getting people out, 1 out away from 3 consecutive scoreless frames. Kinsler singled, scored, and drawn a walk. He had the 13-pitch at bat, and he just rips one into left field. 3rd straight time Kinsler's reached. And the inning continues for Cabrera.
Now, they got an 0-2 base hit in the first inning, and that's what got it all going for the Tigers when he lined that ball into left field way down in the count. Walked the second time and got a breaking ball there and lined it to left field. Here comes that guy again.
Well, It's certainly not part of a good recipe to face Cabrera 3 times in the first 4 innings of a game.
No, but one thing you really ought to do is just throw your fastball inside a couple of times. Just so that you know that he knows you're not afraid to come in there a little bit.
He came in there and Cabrera hooks it down the left field line. This time Cabrera will come in with a double. Runner rounding third, throw to the plate, not going to be in time. Cabrera a run-scoring double to make it 5-0 Detroit. 19 for 37 is Miguel Cabrera since he came off the disabled list.
Well, if you're going to come inside, a changeup is not your pitch of choice. And Kivas Sampson can throw the ball anywhere from 92 to 95 miles an hour. And that pitch was 85 miles an hour, thigh high, inner part of the plate. And you just can't do that to the best hitter in baseball. Good relay by the Reds, though. Boy, they got that back pronto, and it was a good, accurate throw by Eugenio Suarez.
We could sit here and talk about Cabrera's numbers from now until the time the sun comes up tomorrow morning.
What would you rather talk about?
That's a good point. Maybe we will. It's just when you think about the names, I mean, they can roll off your tongue, right on down, the greatest in the history of the game. And this guy is right there. He's on track to win a 4th batting title, and you're talking about one of the premier sluggers in the history of the game. Showing no signs of slowing down. There's a check swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. So Cabrera run scoring double. Reds will bat in the bottom of the 4th inning, trailing Detroit 5-0. Mere hitters in all of baseball. In fact, among all active hitters in their careers, 300 or better batting average, 400 or better on base percentage. These are career numbers now. 500 or better slugging percentage. This is a minimum of 3,000 plate appearances. Cabrera and Votto on that list. Look at the other names on that list. But really, you go back to that list, and in all fairness to all of those guys, and it's no slight on any of them, because those numbers speak for themselves. But when you start really diving into numbers, and you get into home runs, and you get into runs batted in, Cabrera separates himself from the crowd in a hurry.
Baseball Reference has a player page, and at the bottom of their player page, they compare players by age, similar players. And when you look up Miguel Cabrera and you call his name up and you bring his player page out, it's got all the numbers and all the number of all-star games and so on. But down the bottom, it compares the players through age 31 to Miguel Cabrera. First guy that comes up, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, Mel Ott, Ken Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols. I mean, Willie Mays. This is what you're looking at here. I mean, the best player of his generation.
He has knocked in over 100 runs in 11 consecutive seasons. He's knocked in over 110 in 9 of those. In 4 of those, he's knocked in 126 or more. Now, he's going to have a hard time getting there this year with all the time on the disabled list. In fact, it would be nearly impossible for him to get there. He just picked up his 60th run batted in. So this will be the first time Cabrera, and he's been blessed with great health throughout his career. This is the first time since he initially broke into the big leagues where he has missed a significant amount of playing time over the course of the year. He's received Most Valuable Player award votes in every season of his career. He's won a couple of them. In fact, won a back-to-back. But man, I mean, look at the games played. His first full year in the big leagues: 160, 158, 158, 157, 160, 160, 150, 161, 161, 148, 159. That's about as durable as any player can be. Especially over that amount of time. So perhaps it was, he was due. And the on-base percentage is higher now. At over 47% of his plate appearances, he's reaching base. You could have just stopped when you mentioned those players at a certain age that you're most comparable to. When Hank Aaron's name shows up number one, you stop. Frazier gone swinging, and the Reds are retired in order. And the fourth, 5-0 Tigers.
Sports 1 beginning Thursday, September 3rd, when former Michigan quarterback Jim Harbaugh makes his debut as head coach of his alma mater and leads the Wolverines against the Utah Utes. And the only place you can see it is on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And speaking of Jim Harbaugh, check out the Fox College Football Bus. They've been on a tour to promote this game with Michigan. And is this bus full of fans? No, it's full of Harbaughs. Check them out. Got the khakis, got the hat, got the whistle, got the pen on the whistle lanyard. And classic, well, wait, that young man has a smile on his face. Not a great representation of Jim Harbaugh. But going to be interesting to see what he does with the Wolverines. You can see it on Fox Sports 1 September 3rd.
And they're sticking around for the ball game. That's a cute idea. I'm sure that bus is really popular driving through this part of the country. But that's okay.
What if they stopped in Columbus on the way down?
That'd really be a good idea. Better have a lot of insurance.
Be a tough place to break down, wouldn't it?
Really tough. I mean, I hope they bought gas in Michigan. That's what Woody Hayes used to say. I'll push my car to the Ohio border. I'm not even going to pay for gas in Michigan. When he'd go up there on recruiting trips. I'll tell you what, though, it's good for college football.
It really is.
Because that then has a chance to be another chapter of the best rivalry in all of sports. Now that Harbaugh will be getting together the final game, final regular season game for many years to come, locked up with Urban. So for the first time ever, where in the Associated Press poll, a team was the unanimous #1 ranked preseason team in college football. It's never happened before, where a team received every first place vote in the preseason poll. And that's what the voters think of Urban Meyer's Ohio State Buckeyes, the reigning national champions. The 3-1 pitch. It's popped up. as Ballister comes on for the second straight game. And he's been waiting a while, Chris, to get back into major leagues. He came on and threw a perfect inning, or actually walked a batter, a scoreless, hitless inning in a game yesterday. So he says, you want to put me in there every night, that's fine. He had good numbers after the Reds brought him on board, Double-A, then Triple-A.
He's had major league time. He was originally drafted by the Montreal Expos as major league time, mainly with the Washington Nationals. Now 29 years old.
Two down for Avila, and it's low and away, ball one. Reds without a hit through the front four against Buck Farmer, who in his first 24 2/3 innings had allowed 24 runs, 23 of them earned runs. 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Ball forward to Avila, and he draws a 2-out walk, and the inning will continue for the shortstop Andrew Romine. Follow the Reds wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Pirates in the 5th inning, a 2-0 lead in Miami. This ball is in the air, will be handled in right center by Bourgeois, and Ballister a scoreless 5th. Tigers lead 5-0. A local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Meyer. Find more for a healthier you at Meyer. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on the U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals in America. And a special loyal hello, as we do every night, to those of you that may be watching over at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. We're hoping and praying you've had a great day today and an even better one tomorrow. Reds trail 5-0. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Tigers. No runs and no hits for the Reds against this right-hander Buck Farmer, making his 4th start. And Jay Bruce to lead things off. He flied out to short left field, broke his back, in fact, his first time up.
Farmer has not had a start since July the 31st. He's had 4 appearances as a reliever since then. He's been scored upon in 3 of those 4. So you had to figure the Reds were just chomping at the bit to get the Buck Farmer here today, figuring that they get a guy on a mound with not a lot of experience, and the experience that he has not been all that great at the major league level so far. Drafted in 2013, made his debut a year later last year for the Tigers, and he's just dealing here tonight.
Bruce retired on the pop-up to center, 1 away here in the 5th.
Now you may ask yourself, oh, well, Buck Farmer, that can't be his given name, right? Well, you're right. His real name, or given name, is George Rooney Farmer, but he prefers to be called Buck, and it has been that way for a long, long time.
First hit of the night for the Reds. Shot into right center field off the bat of Jason Bourgeois.
That was the Rooney curse. Good level swing by Jason. He's been all over the lineup too. He's been leading off a couple of starts. Here he is now down the number 7 spot.
And it's popped up on the first pitch. 2 away in the inning. Well, the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio would like to send out a special congratulations to Richard and Verna Mae Rhodes, Centerville, Ohio, just outside of Dayton. Today celebrating their 75th wedding anniversary, and just last month in July celebrated their birthdays of 196 respectively. Richard Rhodes 100, Verna Mae Rhodes 96.
Wow.
And celebrated their 75th anniversary today. God bless you both and congratulations. Keep on rolling. Let us wish you both again next year. Both happy birthdays to each of you and another year together. Popped up to the right side off the bat and ballast here, and that will end the inning. Reds finally get ahead, but they're losing 5-0.
Produced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, Reds fans, be a part of Super Saturdays at Great American Ballpark, September the 12th. All fans in attendance receive a Pete Rose Stars of the Queen City bobblehead presented by Queen City Sausage. Now, those tickets are going quickly, so purchase yours. Call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets. September 12th, Pete Rose bobblehead night. That's going to be a big night. Wonder if Peter Edward will be here for that. What do you think?
I would imagine so.
I would think he would be too. I hope he is.
Coming back to the Queen City quite often this year. I know that he's got a roast coming up, I think, on September 3rd.
Really?
Yeah. I've been one of the roasters. I've never had a chance to do that to Pete Rose.
Well, you better be on top of your game.
Well, you're not kidding. I imagine he's got a whole load of comebacks, especially having had the chance to see me pitch. He wouldn't even have to exaggerate. Of course, to see me pitch, he had to get there early. And he was.
Stop.
Well, shot right into the one spot in that dugout area that is not protected is the camera well. Billy's okay, though.
Gone swinging his Buck Farmer.
Oh, Ballister fires up a fastball to get a strikeout. That's his first strikeout of the evening after Sampson had 5, and at 93 miles an hour. We'll name that our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce.
So Ballister, an inning and a third, is allowed 1 base runner. That was a walk, and this is a fly ball to left. It'll take care of Ghost. 2 away.
Hey, one thing he does is he gets himself ready to pitch. Not a lot of pacing around back and forth between pitches. He gets it and ready to go.
It's been a perfect night for Ian Kinsler. Single run scored, walk, single run scored.
Putting together an awfully good year.
and just keep adding to that hit total. His third hit tonight, 153rd of the year. That's updated. First in the league in hits, fourth in runs scored, fourth in doubles, the most multi-hit games. Guy's been a good player for a long time. Most of his major league career spent with Texas. Boy, they had some killer offensive teams when he was near the top of that lineup. First pitch swinging Cabrera, and the inning is over. Ballister doing a nice job. 2 innings of 1 hit scoreless baseball. Reds will bat in the 6th, trailing by 5.
Post game, highlights, interviews, and more. It's brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. I'm Jim Day. Let's give you an update on Billy Hamilton, who we saw earlier on this homestand trying to make a diving catch in extra innings against the Royals. Sprained his shoulder. And originally, Brian Price had said that they expected him to come back at the end of his DL stint, 15 days. But Hamilton is still in a brace, and I talked to him today, still in a sling, I should say. And he can't be in the dugout. If you have any type of device on that hampers you moving around in the dugout, they will not let you in the dugout. So he has not been with the Reds in the game. And he says he's a couple of weeks away from baseball activities. So the injury is worse than they expected. Try to keep you updated, but he is nowhere near coming back.
That is surprising, because when that was originally diagnosed, you know, the Reds said we're going to put him on the DL because our bench is so thin, as you brought up, Jim, at the time. And they said, oh, he's going to be ready when he comes back. And where shoulders are a tricky thing, man.
And at this point, why would you rush him back? Yeah, I mean, why would you rush him back anyway? But I mean, it's not like you're in a pennant race and he's having a great year where you need to get him back in there. I mean, he struggled, and maybe he just is worn out, could use some time off, but you'd never want to have that via an injury.
Hard hit ball. Cabrera kicks it, finds it, and gets the out at first base. That ball's hit right on the nose by Schumacher. And Cabrera not moving around all that well. A few of the Tiger fans having a little fun with him down there.
That'd have been a lot easier had he not kicked it. And he comes up and flips it to Buck Farmer, who's standing right on the bag. I'll tell you, I think Schumacher did him all a favor right there by sliding. He essentially got his body out of the way so that the pitcher could see the ball coming in there.
So here's Suarez, 0 for 2. His fly to center, popped to short. Breaking ball by Buck Farmer, who came in allowing nearly a run per inning. He was allowing a 1 run per inning. Only 1 short of an earned run per inning pitched. And he has gone 5 1/3 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball here tonight. One pitch, and Suarez blasts one to the seats in left field. That has to feel mighty good for Eugenio Suarez against his former team. That's his 9th home run of the year.
Well, there are some guys where the ball just sounds better off the bat than others. I mean, his has a sound. Zach Kozar was around. He's been, of course, down in the clubhouse every day getting therapy and trying to come back from that ACL injury that he had. And he's nowhere close yet, obviously, but it does bring to mind, you know, what the Reds will have in front of them. Suarez playing every day at shortstop here, but he's going to be in the lineup somewhere. That much you're pretty much assured of.
Three balls and 2 strikes on Votto, who has walked and popped up to left field. And he draws another walk. Well, if a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign tonight, Caleb King from Louisville, Kentucky will win that beautiful Tundra. And you can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Tigers pitching coach is Jeff Jones. He'll come out for a visit. Farmer sailing right through the front 5, allowing 1 hit, no runs. But here in this inning, Schumacher hit one right on the nose at Cabrera. Was retired. Suarez homers to the seats and left, and now Votto draws a walk. 3rd walk given up by Farmer. And the Tigers are going to get some activity started out in their bullpen. Tom Borzolani is a left-hander. Al Albuquerque is the right-hander. High and tight to Brandon. Long way to go in this one. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Reds only down 5-1. And Phillips down the left field line, and it is fair and gone off the fair pole. So just like that, 5-0 has become 5-3.
Well, the home runs we've seen in this ball game are no doubters. That is a spinning little breaking ball that really didn't have a lot of downward break on it. Brandon went right down to his sweet spot and cranked it out of here.
Now Brad Ausmus will come out and get Farmer, who gives up 5 in 5 1/3 innings, gives up 3 hits and 3 earned runs. All 3 runs coming in this 6th inning. He walks 3 and fans 3. Reds have Todd Frazier coming up. They had the right-hander Albuquerque, the left-hander Borzolani in the bullpen. This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Reds back in it. All of a sudden proves to be mortal after all, after shutting the Reds out on 1 hit through the front 5. He allows a couple of home runs, and now Frazier drops a bunt, a hit all the way against Albuquerque. That's his second bunt hit in the last 3 days by Frazier. He had 1 in his career before then.
Well, they're giving it to him, and he is looking for a way to get back on track, and why not? So you get down by 2 runs after that 2-run home run by Brandon Phillips, and now you've got the tying runner at the plate in Jay Bruce. Al Albuquerque is the new Detroit Tiger pitcher. 29-year-old right-hander from the same hometown in the Dominican Republic as Johnny Cueto, San Pedro de Macorís. It's been pretty good. He's had a nice career for Albuquerque all of his years with the Detroit Tigers in the big leagues.
Is that where you went down there to visit Cueto?
Yeah. I was over in La Romana and then San Pedro. That's where Johnny had the big party. I don't have any video for the party. I'm sorry.
Well, you had said when the Royals came back into town that we might, finally expose some of that video.
Yeah, but with Johnny not on the dock at the pitch, I thought it would just be kind of a sideline.
Did you think that over the last 3 years when he was pitching every 5 days for the Reds as well?
I got a very slow editing department. I can't expect much. I'm not paying them much.
Two and 1 to Jay Bruce. That ball driven into left center field by Bruce. And that's up against the wall. Frazier being waved around. He will score. And just like that, a 1-run ball game.
Yeah, 5 batters reached in a row here for the Reds in the 6th inning. Jay Bruce, good time to come out of it. He actually chases a pitch that's a few inches outside, but it's already up. And he's able to get the fat part of the bat on it. So as quickly as the Tigers scored 4 in the 1st, the Reds have scored 4 here in the 6th.
All right, here's Jason Bourgeois. Reds have the tying run out there at second base. It was only 5 batters ago. 1 out, nobody on. The Reds were getting shut out on 1 hit by that man, Buck Farmer. And now it's a 1-run ball game. When Brandon Phillips clubbed that 2-run home run, don't want to let this milestone slip away from us. Phillips has eclipsed 800 runs batted in during his career. He has 801. So congratulations to Brandon Phillips. Well, the bullpen continues to stay busy. It's still the left-hander Gorzolani. Makes you wonder why he was getting ready to begin with. You weren't going to use him against Jay Bruce.
Good question.
No, the rumor mill is more times than not just that, rumor. You know, there were rumors around the All-Star break that Barry Larkin was going to be the manager of the Reds after the break. There are rumors about this guy and rumors about that guy. There's a foul ball. And the rumor mill again, starting to wonder about the future of Brad Ausmus.
Well, he had a team last year that won 90 games. They came in first in the division, then went out and lost 3 in a row to the Baltimore Orioles to get knocked out of the postseason. This year he's looking at a team that is 5 games under 500, 5 out in the wild card right now.
Well, Albuquerque's not retired a batter, and Brad Ausmus will come get him. So Albuquerque faces 3 batters, allows 2 hits, so far a run, also a walk. And now they bring in the left-hander Gorzalani. Back in a moment. Earlier in the game, our Data Strong fan photo brought to you by T-Mobile. Indy, Digger and Indy. Oh yeah, you can tell Indy's a diehard. I bet he's dialed in right about now.
Tom Gorzalani, another diehard. He's been around a long time, 11 years in the major leagues, now 33 years old. He's had his share as a starter, 121 starts. But the last few years, almost always as a reliever.
2-1 for Tucker Barnhart. Reds down a run. They've scored 4 times, and they have 2 on with 1 out here in the 6th. Pitcher spot due up next, and for the time being, Yvonde Jesus Jr. is standing in the on-deck circle. Taking off for third, double steal, throw to third. And Castellanos did not come over to get the tag down.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at 2 things right there. That Castellanos was late getting to the bag, which is often the case when you have a right-handed hitter up and you're afraid that somebody's going to dribble a ground ball where you just left. But by far, what you normally see is the catcher throw behind and throw that second runner, because the first runner has to wait until he sees the lead runner go. So really, with Jason Bourgeois at first base, his best shot would have been throw to second to get him out. So now 2 in scoring position, the tying run and the go-ahead run.
Let's see if Tucker can get him in. He's got a 2-0 count. Gorzalani left foot off the rubber, now right back on it. A base hit from Barnhart could give the Reds the lead. See Tucker better than the Major League Baseball average, 4 of 7. When presented with the opportunity of a runner at third and fewer than 2 out, of getting that runner in.
Now, the batting average for Tucker, when you look at the lefty-righty splits, because he is a switch hitter, favors him hitting against right-handed hitters, but he makes contact when he's up there right-handed. Does a real good job of that.
They are loaded.
Brad Ausmus coming out again. He's going to go to the bullpen once again.
He's looking for a reliever that should just get a single out. Albuquerque allowed 3 in a row to reach. Gorzolani walks the only batter he faces. The Reds have them loaded. 4 runs home. Only 1 out. They're down by a run. We're back in a moment. Have them loaded. They've scored 4 times here in the 6th inning. Let's flash back. The only game the Tigers were in town, we were playing way into the night. And Frazier, a game-ending grand slam. That was in the 13th inning. That's Johnny Cueto. Remember him? Johnny still looks better in red than he does that blue. Doesn't he?
I think a lot of people would agree with you, including me.
All right, what do we know about Neftali Feliz?
Well, he was one of the best prospects ever for the Texas Rangers. In fact, he opened up last season as their main setup man. This year, it went so bad for him that they designated him for assignment on July the 3rd, and then about a week later got picked up by the Tigers.
9th man to bat in this inning. Nowhere near the plate. Ivan De Jesus bats for Colin Bannister. Bannister did an excellent job.
I mean, I gotta
no run.
You're exactly right about Bannister. And who knew? I mean, including Bannister, when he came into the ball game, that he may have a chance to pick up a vulture win. The Reds score a couple of runs right here.
Bruce, Bourgeois, Barnhart, the base runners. And it's 2-0 on Ivan De Jesus Jr.
Well, I got to figure that Brad Ausmus is just sitting there and got all of his fingers crossed and just hoping. You hear the rumor mill about Ausmus. Not surprising, but the name that keeps coming up is their first baseman coach, Omar Vizquel. Class act right there.
Back to back. Fastballs from Feliz thrown right by De Jesus. He may have helped Feliz there. That ball looked to be out of the zone. 96.
Well, you shorten up right here. You want to put the ball in play. After throwing 2 in a row right by him, I imagine he's coming right back with a fastball, right?
Yep, and missed. Full count. Nowhere to put it. Bruce at third, the tying run. The go-ahead run, Bourgeois at second. Barnhart at first. The last 2 batters have reached on walks. And now it's 3-2 on De Jesus Jr. Payoff pitch coming. Got him swinging. 97.
Well, it took Tigers pitchers 9 hitters in the lineup, but they finally got 2 outs. But the bases are loaded and good opportunity for Schumacher. Normally a pretty good guy to put the ball in play.
Well, he led off this inning. That seems like a week ago now when he hit that hot smash down to Cabrera, who fumbled the ball, actually kicked the ball into foul territory and was able to recover in time to get Schumacher out. And that started a string. where the next 7 batters reach base safely until that strikeout of De Jesus. Fastball high, 1-1 to Skip.
I wouldn't imagine it's even a guessing game here with Phillips, because he's thrown 1 breaking pitch. He missed badly with that pitch. Everything else has been nothing but a fastball, and he's thrown it hard. He had Tommy John surgery a couple of years ago, and I'm wondering if maybe he's just now coming around and feeling good.
You said it, Chris. There's not a whole lot of trickery going on.
The trick is to hit 97.
Tying run at third. 2 outs here in the 4-run 6th inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillips v. Schumacher. And a flare base hit will give the Reds the lead.
Well, after having a couple of fastballs thrown by you, you just shorten your approach a little bit. And that's a nice, short, compact, quick to the ball swing. And hey, you get it just enough to get a base hit. Who cares how it looks? You play 2 and the Reds take the lead. Really coming back off the mat. All in this inning.
Albuquerque faced 3 batters. Allowed 2 hits and a walk, charged with 3 earned runs. Gorzolani walked the only batter he faced. What a big 2-out, 2-strike, 2-run single for Skip Schumacher. A 6-run 6th inning for the Reds. Seven runs in an inning, a season high for the Reds this year. That was in the 9th inning in game 1 of a doubleheader back on the 9th of May on the south side of Chicago. Bounces up there. Suarez started this scoring, clubbing a solo home run deep to the seats in left field. And now he has a chance, and this is second at bat of this inning, to do further damage. Another full count.
He's thrown just about all breaking pitches here to Suarez. Maybe they, of course, they know Eugenio better than any player on this Reds team. I'd imagine on a 3-2 count, though, he's going to be getting a fastball.
Suarez looking to unload if he gets that gas right here. 3-2 pitch. Well, he got the fastball. And fair down the line. 1 run home, 2 runs score. A Eugenio
with 3 RBIs in the inning. An 8-run inning.
Oh, when you break out of it, why not break out of it in a big way and even sprinkle in a little luck? Gets jammed, but the pitch is fair, or the ball stays fair, and with a couple of outs, 2 runners come around to score.
This is unbelievable. They're making another, or are they?
I'm not sure what Ausmus can tell him. I mean, he seems to be throwing the ball pretty good. He gave up a couple of base hits with both jam shots. Sometimes that just happens.
Their bullpen has faced 7 batters in this inning. Albuquerque 3, Gorzelani 1. And 3 by Phillips. They've retired 1 batter.
They're going to walk Joey Votto and not take a chance with this left-hander, only to pitch to Brandon Phillips. Phillips, if you remember, was the Rookie of the Year in 2010. And that year he threw a pitch that was recorded at 103.4 miles an hour. Only 2 pitchers in baseball at that time had thrown a pitch faster. One of them, Aroldis Chapman, the other, Joel Zumaya.
That's when the Rangers had a couple of those guys where they toyed around with being a starter, then a reliever, starter, reliever. They really couldn't make up their mind, and before you knew it, both guys were hurt.
You're right, and he came in, if you remember, in the American League Championship Series against the Yankees, got the final 3 outs, and became the youngest player when he saved the game in the World Series to record a save in the World Series. Rangers eventually lost that series to the Giants. But now Brandon Phillips with a chance. What an exciting inning.
Incredible season high for the Reds, the 8 runs.
And they're going to add to that. Phillips down the line. Suarez scores. Votto scores. Brandon a 2-run triple. A 10-run inning. Phillips with 4 RBIs in this inning. A 2-run home run and a 2-run triple. Now, our statistician Joe Luckup, among others, will be digging into the computer files to find out when the last time a player had a home run, a triple, and 4 RBIs in the same inning. That has to be rare. Quite rare. Home run double, home run single. I mean, the odds are long on that. 2 at-bats in 1 inning. You don't see it much, but home run triple? The Tigers are just shell-shocked. Nine batters faced by their bullpen. 8 of the 9 have reached base.
The only out recorded was the first batter that Phillips faced with the bases loaded and the Tigers in front by a run. He struck out De Jesus. Albuquerque allowed a bunt hit to Frazier, a double to Bruce, a walk to Bourgeois. Borzolani a walk, then the strikeout. Since single, double, walk, triple. And this should be the final out of the inning, and what an inning. The Reds were shut out on one hit coming into this sixth inning. They scored 10 times on 7 base hits and lead the Tigers 10-5. We'll take a look back at the weekend honoring the great Tony Perez. Sam LeCure speaks on his road back to the majors. And Brian Finnegan, one of the prize pickups in the Johnny Cueto trade, and Brian Giesenslaw recently sat down in Louisville. A brand new Reds Weekly hits the air Wednesday night at 6. That's Jeff Picoro and Doug Flynn on Fox Sports Ohio. Brian Giesenslaw also part of the program. The 10 runs, the most scored in an inning by the Reds since they lit up the Diamondbacks in 2005 on August the 19th. How about that? In fact, the Reds this season have only scored more than 10 runs in a game 4 times. So now Burke Badenhop comes on. We're at the top of the 7th inning, and the Reds with a 5-run lead. They were just down by 5 a short while ago. J.D. Martinez got the Tigers off and running in the first inning against Kivas Sampson, hitting a 3-run home run. 4 of the 5 Tigers runs came in that first. Their other runs scored against Sampson in the 4th, his final inning, and they're not done yet. This ball driven to right center field, and it bounces over the wall. Ground rule double for J.D. Martinez. It might be a 5-run lead here in the 7th, but no lead is safe with the pop in this Tiger lineup.
Well, especially when the energy of offense takes over a ball game, and it obviously has done that really right from the very get-go when the Tigers scored 4 in the first. And you go back to that game in 2005 when the Reds scored 10 in the 4th inning. They had already had a 6-0 lead. Brandon Clausen ended up getting the win that day for the Reds. Home runs by Felipe Lopez, Willie Mo Pena, and Austin Kearns in that game.
Wow. 3 names from the past there. Fly ball on the left. That's an easy out. Tyler Collins. And here comes Castellanos, who's homered, bounced to first, and popped up to right. Pitch taken outside. And it's ball 1 to Nick Castellanos. Pirates a 3-1 lead, batting in the 8th inning in Miami. Coming up shortly, game 1 of that series between the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks in Phoenix. The New York Mets are pounding Philadelphia 13-7. And told you the Chicago Cubs won earlier today. A A game-ending home run at Wrigley off the bat of rookie Chris Bryant. 2-1 over the Tribe. Games involving contenders over in the American League, and very much contenders, of course, Kansas City. A huge division lead. But they're tied with Baltimore. Baltimore trying to sneak in there. 3-3 game. That game in the 6th. And they're in the 9th inning in the Bronx. The Astros and the Yankees scoreless. The Astros just took it to the Dodgers over the weekend, sweeping them at Minute Maid Park. Reds will see the Dodgers in the first of 3 tomorrow night, right here at Great American Ballpark. It remains 2-2 on the Tigers' third baseman. Castellanos taking a long time in between pitches, and the umpire apparently in no hurry to get him back in the box. He did not swing at that pitch. That's a rule the umpires had directed to really speed up the pace of play. And there's ball 4. And now all of a sudden, after the Reds just scored 10 runs to take a 5-run lead, the Tigers have 2 on. With 1 out, Avila, the batter, has been on base all 3 times, a single and a pair of walks. Two on, 1 out. Hard hit ball. Phillips. They turn it over. And Badenhop slams a door on a threat by the Tigers in the 7th. Kroger on August 26th and September the 24th. Purchase your Bark in the Park ticket package. Bring your furry friend to the ballpark for a special on-field parade and more. Visit Reds.com. Spots are going quickly. And by the way, I received an email from my good friend who for over 30 years has run the SPCA Cincinnati Harry Dates. And, you know, a lot of people have been wondering about, you know, this dog flu that is going around, a canine flu. And, you know, should they bring their dogs? Is it okay to bring their dogs out to the park and be around other dogs, that kind of thing? And Harry consulted with 3 other veterinarians and believe that this should be okay. But dog owners, just remember, it is in our area, and by whatever means you're able to just keep that in mind. There is a risk of getting the flu, letting their dogs come in contact with other dogs that could be infected. But if your dog's showing any signs of illness, please don't attend. So do us all a favor, because that is a pretty big deal around the country right now.
Sure is.
And Harold Dates, thank you so much for sending me that email a few minutes ago. Boy, what a job that guy's done in this town for a long, long time. And all the volunteers and the folks at work, both locations, over in Coleraine and off Conway Road. Broken bat line drive by Jay Bruce. New pitcher Guido Knudsen takes over on the mound for the Tigers.
Now the barrel of that bat just goes flying almost all the way to second base. The ball, a semi-hard line drive, was picked off easily by the first baseman. Knudsen only in his second game. Drafted, signed by the Detroit Tigers out of University of California, San Diego in La Jolla.
Not a bad place to go.
Yeah, the worst place is probably the.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his second game ever in the major leagues. And in the first, he pitched 1 inning, gave up a hit, and it was a home run.
They'll retire Bourgeois on the ground ball is short, 2 away. We'll visit the team shop at Great American Ballpark or any team shop during the Reds game through Thursday and get select all-star merchandise. You can do that now at a 50% discount. This deal runs out on Thursday, so get your gear now. That's between now and Thursday. You know, so many folks involved with Major League Baseball, when they came here to Cincinnati, that all-star logo that is on, you know, whatever you might buy, a t-shirt, golf shirt, a pullover, jacket, whatever, hat. So many folks from MLB thought that was the best looking all-star game logo that they can remember ever seeing.
Yeah. Who's responsible for that? Is that MLB that comes up with that, or is that somebody here in Cincinnati?
That's a really good question.
That's
we're going to find out
logo.
the answer to that question. I would think, I mean, you know, I'm not even going to guess. We're going to find out exactly who it was and give that person or group of people credit for it, because they really did a great job. Joint 2 on Tucker Barnhart. He walked and scored. Every player that was in the original lineup scored a run in that 10-run inning. Schumacher 1, Suarez 2, Votto 2, Phillips 1, Frazier 1, Bruce 1, Bourgeois and Barnhart 1. The only player who hit in that inning that did not score a run was the pinch hitter Ivan De Jesus Jr. Right back up the middle. A 2-out hit by Tucker. He's coming to second, and he's in there with a double. That ball stung by Barnhart.
It's a good looking swing right there, just going down and keeping his head right on it.
So Badenob's going to bat. With 2 outs and a runner at second, Reds in front 10-5. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jim, they understand you have the answer to the question.
MLB comes up with the All-Star logo, but they work very closely with each team to develop that mark that incorporates the host city and the host team. So very Cincinnati flavored, but MLB ultimately comes up with it.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's a beauty. Two and two on Badenhop. And it's low.
Tell you what, Burke doing a pretty good job for the first at bat he's had since 2013.
Zach Bonkowski, the senior director of promotional events and player relations for the Reds, just sent me a text because I asked him the same question, and he did say it's MLB's design services. But they got tremendous input. Look out in that Reds dugout. Wow. I mean, right over the railing and right into the back wall. And everybody, thankfully, is okay. And the 3-2 pitch once more to Badenhop. And he puts the ball in play. Inning is over. By the way, the group of people that helped inspire that: Phil Castellini, Ralph Mitchell, Jansen Dell, and the Reds creative team. A job well done. Take a look at our Honda game summary. I mean, this started ugly. Tigers scored 4 times in the first inning. 3-run home run by J.D. Martinez. 2 batters later, Nick Castellanos a home run off Kivas Sampson. It was a 5-0 lead. The Reds came into the 6th inning with 1 hit in the game. With 1 out, a home run by Suarez. 2 batters later, home run by Phillips. They would score 10 runs, a season high, on 7 base hits. And the big story in the inning was Brandon Phillips. Yes, Suarez knocked in 3 with a home run and a 2-run double. Phillips knocked in 4 with a 2-run home run and a 2-run triple. Phillips and Suarez with 2 hits in that 10-run inning become the first Reds with 2 hits in any inning since Jay Bruce had a pair of doubles in 2013 against the Milwaukee Brewers. J.J. Hoover takes over on the mound here in the 8th inning with a 5-run lead. Romine to lead things off. and it's low and away. The last player to have a triple and a home run in an inning, Edwin Encarnacion with the Toronto Blue Jays early last year. But look at that. Only the 13th player since 1974 with a home run and a triple in the same inning.
The 13th since 1970. So it's really not as rare as you would think. I would think it would be the first guy since 1974.
I'm with you. I thought it would be. I mean, when you think about the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, right? I mean, we play. You have 30 teams that play 162 games a year.
Oh, you're doing math on TV again.
I'm not going to do it. So all I'm telling you is you go back to 1974. You're talking 41 years ago. How about that math? Rip that off pretty quick, Doctor. Come on, Doctor. I did. Not it working. Doesn't matter. Got to get there. One away in the inning.
That's the kind of math I'm looking for.
Oh, man. I mean, you know, there's some things in the grand scheme of things that every parent dreads. I'm not talking about the big stuff. I'm talking about, you know, sweating some of the small stuff. I shared with you, Chris, earlier today. My son rides his bike back from school today. I can tell he's a little sad as Rajai Davis swings and misses his first at bat of the game. And there was something that went on in his math class today, and he didn't understand it. I was dressed, ready for work. I said, "Come on, Luke. Let's go home. You and me right now. We're gonna work this thing out." Now, Chris, can you imagine my terror? A 5th grade little boy asking me to help him with math. As I was going back home, I was sweating profusely. But we got it figured out.
I can tell you how to get out of that.
What, Mom will be home in a minute?
Well, no. Do it one time like I did. Have your son come back with a C on his homework the next day.
Ooh.
And you're never asked again.
That's, you know,
I didn't do it intentionally either.
I understand
that way.
I get it.
Of course, that was 6th grade math, not 5th grade. So you've got something to look forward to.
2 away in the inning on another ground ball of Brandon Phillips. Oh, the horror. 6th grade math. Two outs, nobody on. Remarkably, this would be if the Reds can nail down the final 4 outs of this game without surrendering this 5-run lead. It would be just the 5th time all year long where the Reds were down by more than a run in a game. So multiple runs. And came back to win. They beat the Pirates the first week of the season. They beat the Giants in May down 2. They beat the Nationals down 3 at the end of May. And beat the Pirates again down 2 in June. Their 15 come from behind wins are the fewest in Major League Baseball this season. JJ tries for a perfect inning, and it's 2-2 on Anthony Gose. Got to go back over a year ago, the last time the Reds rallied from 5 down to win a game. I wonder if we're going to see a Aroldis Chapman tonight. Well, somebody be saying, well, it's not a save situation. Well, he's pitched one time in 11 days.
Well, you got to make sure his shoulder feels right. And I don't really know what the status of that is. Maybe Jim Day had heard something about that this afternoon in a meeting with Brian Price.
Indeed, he is available. Brian Price said before today's game that he would it have been a save situation last night, was available last night. So having not pitched very much, I'm not sure if they'll just try to get him some work tonight. There's no off day on the horizon, so they might just want to hold him back another day, but he is available.
Well, the Reds have an off day next Thursday, not this week. And that is their only off day because of this makeup game today. They'll go from August the 17th. That was, this homestand began the following day, and that's a nice running play made by Jason Bourgeois. Really nice catch by Bourgeois. 1-2-3-8 for J.J. Hoover. Reds lead 10-5. Already bottom of the 8th inning. The Reds are hoping this is it for them as far as coming to the plate is concerned tonight. A 5-run lead, top of the order. Reds scored all 10 of their runs, if you're just joining us, in the 6th inning. George Rooney Buck Farmer had worked the first 4 1/3 innings without allowing a hit. He went through the first 5 innings allowing only 1 hit and no runs. And after retiring Schumacher on a hard hit ball to start the inning, the Reds went homer, walk, 2-run homer, bunt, hit, RBI double, walk, strikeout, 2-run single, 2-run double, walk, 2-run triple. They hit for the cycle in the inning. Swung on and fouled out of play. Broken bat, pulled foul. If you're wondering what the club's all-time record is for most runs in an inning, 14. The first inning, 1989, against the Houston Astros. The Reds scored 14 runs. They had 16 hits in that 14-run inning. In the dirt, 2-2 on Schumacher. Into left field. 1 away. Get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game with the Reds live on Fox Sports Ohio. It's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And tomorrow, the Dodgers come to town. They beat the Reds 3 out of 4 at Dodger Stadium. Alex Wood, a left-hander, 8 up, 8 down against a native Los Angelino, John Lamb, who made his big league debut at Dodger Stadium on that road trip. He made the one mistake pitch, was throwing the ball very well that night, made the one mistake pitch to Adrian Gonzalez, who hit a 3-run home run. Lamb his last time allowed 3 runs, struck out 8, did not walk a batter.
There you go.
And he was in line for the win that game against Arizona, but the bullpen could not hold it. A game the Reds wound up losing 5-4. That was a game when Aroldis Chapman was unavailable, and Bert Batenhop came in the 8th inning and gave up 2 runs. The Diamondbacks went from down 4-3 to 5-4 winners. Suarez against his former team, 2 hits in 1 inning. A solo home run and a 2-run bloop double down the line. So Suarez now with 9 home runs and 35 runs batted in. He has 14 doubles. It's going to be very interesting to see not only what the Reds do with Suarez, but how soon they do it. Chris talked the other night about, shortstop generally is one of the better athletes you have on your team, so it makes sense that he could probably, if you wanted him to, become an outfielder. And there's no doubt that's true. But you still have to go out there and do it. Players don't want to get embarrassed, so you got to get them on it sooner rather than later.
Well, I think it would be an easy transition for most infielders. Talking to a scout, actually over the last couple of days, a couple of different scouts about that same subject, and they were wondering if the Reds might do that this year before the season is over, is see if Suarez can play a little left field, which they don't have anybody else really to play shortstop on an everyday basis, at least not on this big league roster right now. And the other part of it is, of course, is, will Devin Mesoraco be able to catch every day? You certainly want him in the lineup as much as you can.
Suarez loops one into left. That'll fall in a hit.
Add to that 305 batting average.
And of course, the Reds had Devin Mesoraco working out in left field during batting practice and playing out there in left like it was a game situation. Working very hard with Billy Hatcher. Then they sent him down to Louisville. And at the end of the day, he played left field down there. At the end of the day, his hip was just never right. And shortly thereafter, shut him down, had the surgery, and is working his way back. He's with the big league club every day when they're here at home. That ball hit way into the night by Votto. So after walking 3 times, Joey says, give me something to hit. And he did not miss it. Oh.
It was about 2/3 the way up the moon deck.
Oh boy. Votto home run number 24, RBI 61 and 62, and a 12-5 lead for the Reds. Votto, for the 10th time this year, walked 3 times in a game. That's the most in a season by any player since Barry Bonds, unbelievably, in 2004. Had 27 games where he walked 3 times or more. Of course, a ton of those were intentional walks to Bonds.
And the other half were pitch arounds.
Pop up into right field. And there are 2 away in the inning. .442 feet, that home run by Joey Votto. There's a pop-up, foul territory, third base side, and out of play. The year Barry Bonds had the 27 games where he had the 10 or more walks. Listen to this for a minute. You want to talk about a stat line that you say to yourself, you got to be kidding me? Barry Bonds had 617 plate appearances that year. He had 373 at bats. He walked 232 times that year. He hit 45 bombs and knocked in 101. Fifth, it's Reds Toberfest. Arrive early, pregame ceremonies celebrating German Heritage Day. That'll be a big day here in Cincinnati. First 20,000 fans receive a Red Stein thanks to Hollywood Casino. Oh my goodness, that's a youngin' there, real young. And if that's that little one's first Reds game, and it might be for her, well, she better start showing up more often, because the Redlegs have 12 runs tonight. They lead 12-5, 10 runs in 1 inning. And here indeed is Aroldis Chapman.
Good to see Aroldis out there, because anytime he gets sidelined with a barking arm, whether it's an elbow or a shoulder or really anything that's going on with Aroldis Chapman, you take notice. Last time he pitched, he did not really throw with the kind of velocity that we're used to him seeing throw. I mean, when most pitchers come in and they hit 98 miles an hour, you're oohing and ahhing. When Aroldis Chapman tops out at 98, you're wondering what's wrong with him. And that's what we were doing when he took the mound. Hopefully he is back and finding a groove.
99 on the first pitch. So 3 outs away from this 9-game losing streak. Second time this year the Reds have lost 9 consecutive games. And for the second time it would end at 9. And maybe a better night's sleep tonight for the skipper. Chapman right at 99 on 3 of his first 4 to Ian Kinsley. The only time Chapman has taken the mound in the last 10 days. 100 there. He blew his first save in this ballpark since September the 7th of 2012. He allowed the home run to Ben Zobrist in a 1-0 lead leading off the 9th inning. And there's ball 4. Colin Ballister is in line to get the win. Well, you want to talk about irony? Here you go. His last major league win came for the Tigers in 2012. They beat the White Sox. Irony? The Tigers overcame a 6-run deficit to win the game 10-8.
Right place, right time.
Here's Cabrera. They scored 8 runs in the 6th inning. The Reds scored 10 in the 6th tonight. Thank Joe Luckup, our statistician, all over that one. And everything else, he's been busy down there tonight.
Nothing like a 10-run inning that would get your statistician going.
Yeah, guys.
You probably had to put Luke's homework down and pay attention to baseball.
Fastball high. 2 balls.
You don't act like you were doing it.
What's that?
You don't act like you were doing it. You turned over to a numbers guy.
Right. Hey, Uncle Joel, you know him from the booth. He's really good at this. Two and one on Miguel Cabrera. Only 1 at bat in his career against Chapman. There's a slider. 2-2. It's a good matchup here. Even if it's a 7-run deficit, guys like Cabrera, they're great competitors. So too is Chapman. And this is truly the best at what he does against the best at what he does, arguably, in baseball today. Runner is safe as that throw was in the dirt by Tucker Barnhart. And the runner goes first to third. After taking second to third.
Cabrera looked like he said something right before the pitch to Chapman. And I think Chapman even grinned a little bit. I think it was challenge me with a fastball, which he did, and he dribbles it out there about 15 feet.
That was a smart play by Tucker. That ball was staying right on the line, but just didn't finish the throw.
And they're going to challenge the call. The Reds are.
Okay, Joey, did he ever have control of it? When his foot was on the bag?
Well, at this point, what do you have to lose if you're the Reds? I guess that's the way they're looking at it. I mean, it's a 12-5 ball game. I don't know what the pros and cons are. I mean, they already in this ball game allowed Burt Badenhop to hit for himself with a runner at second base when the score was 10-5, with a couple of pinch hitters available on the bench, including Ryan Lamar and Brennan Bosch. Don't know if Bosch is available. Had to stay out of yesterday's lineup, but
or are they looking perhaps to see if that ball was foul?
How could it be foul?
Well, if it rolled over the line and he picked it up. if it did.
I don't think it was even close. I mean, hit behind home plate, but that doesn't matter.
No, yeah, I just mean once he gets up the line here. That's fair all the way. I mean, I've asked the question 4 times on this homestand.
At least 4 times.
And I certainly hope somebody higher up the food chain is asking the same question. How can this take this long? The ball was fair, and I think every angle that we have seen tells you there is no evidence to overturn this call. And they overturned it. Well, that shows you what I know about it. And those guys in New York, I guess, know what they're doing.
Another good job by the Reds video guy, Rob Coughlin. I mean, he seems to be right on the money.
That took 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So it is an out. And a good challenge indeed.
Yeah.
And Votto able to, well, I tell you, So, Chris, you think they have a different angle back in New York than we just saw? Because I'm stunned based on what we just saw.
Yeah. Well,
Are you surprised?
Yeah, I am too. They maybe have a way to slow it down and freeze frame it frame by frame, and they're looking at it backwards and forwards, frame by frame, and we don't go to that length on TV to show you. This was the angle that they said was the definitive angle. I don't know how that could be a definitive angle because I can't tell you when he caught it.
All right. Well, the bottom line is they were able to make the call, and certainly the Reds are thrilled about it. Runner at third with 1 out.
Well, in a game that's a 7-run game and 3 hours and 20 minutes long, the only guy maybe unhappy about it will be Cabrera.
And the goal is to still get it right. Doesn't matter what the score is or anything else going on. The goal of replay is to get the call correct. And that's what they saw back in New York. And there's a slider, a check swing and a miss, and gone is J.D. Martinez. And the Tigers down to their final out of the night. So Chapman trying to maneuver around a leadoff walk. And trying to tie a ribbon around this one. Iglesias, their regular shortstop, will bat. Tigers jump on a plane right after the game, fly right back to Detroit. And the Reds welcome the Dodgers starting tomorrow night. Folks have stayed around a long time. Game started at 10 after 7 or just after 10:30. 2-0 on Jose Iglesias. 306 batter. He's done a nice job. 2 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Chapman has missed high with virtually every fastball he has thrown since coming into the game.
He may be trying to hump it up a little extra, trying to strike out a fellow Cuban who he probably knows personally, and maybe even knew him back in Cuba.
4-pitch walk. Second one issued by Chapman. Here's Castellanos in the air and playable. What a game here tonight for the Reds. They come in having lost 9 in a row. They fell behind 4-0 in the first, 5-0 in the fourth. They scored 10 in the sixth. And win it by a final count of 12-5. We're back with more from Great American Ballpark in a moment. Reds win. The losing streak is over.